Holy Spirit, we want more of you.
Welcome to Hope for Mental Health, helping people overcome personal experiences of mental health. So this talk is about mental health and mind management. It consists of 4 parts, and the first part is the introduction. The next part is why are we struggling with mental health today? You may not know, but the mental health anxiety is the worst that it's ever been in the whole of human history. Another fact that you might not know, that our life expectancy is shorter now than it has ever been before, despite our knowledge and technical skills in medicine. So why are we struggling with mental health the way we do today? Then we'll be looking at the thinking process, what makes us tick, why we think the way we do, and then lastly, how we can change that way that we think and give us skills for a better life. Part 1, our introduction. So I just want to say welcome. If you're watching this clip, this series, I presume that you know somebody who is struggling with mental health, or maybe even yourself. And I hope that what I share here will help you to improve your mental health so that you can live the life you've always wanted to. So this is a little bit of a clip that was created by Eva Southern, and it's a little bit about me. So who am I? My name is Merril van Rensburg, and as you can see, I enjoy a good cup of coffee. I have my coffee without milk or sugar, and I don't have instant coffee. I am also an accredited and registered counselor with the Association of Christians in Counseling. I'm an accredited EMDR practitioner, and I've studied systemic family therapy. I've been counseling people for over 30 years. So what is mental health? Let us have a look what the World Health Organization, what definition they give. And they say this: it is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. And as we look at that definition, we just need to evaluate, are we fulfilling that kind of definition? Do we realize our abilities? Are we coping with the normal stresses of life? Can we work productively and fruitfully? And are we making a contribution to our community? Well, most people, when we think about mental health, we only think of it in a negative context. And we will think of things like anxiety, low mood, depression, low self-esteem, worry, isolation and loneliness. That's a big problem that we have in our community, in our world today. Isolation and loneliness. Body image issues, body dysmorphia, anorexia, bulimia, all those things. These are all mental health issues. And then obviously people are filled with despair. We hear the news and we go into a negative downward spiral, fearing the worst in the future. And most of the time, it never ever occurs. When we talk about mental health, it exists on a complex continuum. And every person will experience it in a different way. So all of us have got unique experiences. No two experiences are the same. But we can group it in terms of what we think. And there are all varying degrees of difficulty with our mental health and our distress. Can we get up in the morning? Can we get to work? Can we manage whatever is happening? Can we drive through the traffic without getting totally upset and distressed? It will include mental disorders and psychosocial disabilities. So when I'm talking about mental health in the context today, I'm not talking about the extreme extent where people are on a neurodiverse spectrum like ADHD, although that's very much a mental health problem, and autism and all those situations that we find that people struggle with when they have a mental problem, a neurodiversity problem. But it includes, so mental health includes mental disorders and psychosocial disabilities. And obviously these do result in distress. It results in impairment of function, a risk of self-harm, and obviously it also impacts those that we are in connection with, our children, our wives, our relatives, our friends. Here is the important thing that we got to remember. Poor mental health is not a biomedical condition. Many people think, oh, it's a biomedical condition and we throw a pill at it. No, that is just managing that biomedical condition. If we want to get through mental health, we have to do a little bit, do something different. So anxiety, low mood, burnout, anger, low self-esteem, feeling out of control, they are actually warning signs that we have, our body is saying to us that something has happened or is happening. So we need to start looking at what we're experiencing as a warning sign that something is not the way it should be. Because there is nothing wrong with you or your brain. And a mental health condition is not your identity. People often like to use the phrase, I'm an alcoholic. No, I am a person that is struggling with alcoholism. We don't identify ourselves because of the struggle we're in. There is nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with your brain. The problem is all mental health results from the way you think and how you manage your thoughts. So what happens when our thinking is out of control? We're going to have a little look at a clip of YouTube. And so you will just have to bear with me as I just close this and share my screen of the YouTube clip. So have a watch at this. Yes. So as we had a look at that, it's very representative of what our lives are like. Spinning out of control, going the wrong way, somebody spinning out of control near us, getting in the way. So what is the problem with those drivers? Let's have a look at what is the problem. Let's ask ourselves, is it the car? I don't think it's the car. Car is the result of what happens. Is it the powertrain? And the powertrain is with the gearbox and the engine? Or is it the driver? When we look at that, yes, it is the driver that is in control, operating with the powertrain, which moves the car in a direction. So if any one of those drivers wanted to improve their driving, what do you think they would need to do? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think. I think this is the first thing. That driver needs to realize that she or he is capable of improved driving. This is vital and important, that, I can drive better than that. And the second thing, they must be determined they want to improve. If they give up, they will never improve their driving. They need to stop. They need to analyze, what are they doing? Which way are they turning the steering wheel? What way must you turn the steering wheel when you are in a slide? How must I travel? What speed must I travel? There's a lot to be analyzed and thought about when you look at their driving. They have to learn the theory about driving skills. And they need to put this theory into practice. And lastly, and this is the most important, they've got to practice, practice, practice until the skill is refined and learned. So just having a look at that, let's look at, with poor mental health, what is the problem? Is it our body? So our body has digestion problems, our body has heart problems, our body has whatever it has. Or is it the brain? Or is it our mind? The way we think, I can't do this. Oh no, it's impossible. Oh, disaster is going to strike. And if we want to improve, we've got to realize you are capable of changing the way you think. If you change the way you think, you're capable of improving your life. There is nothing wrong with your brain. I've repeated that a number of times. People today make it a biomedical problem, a reductionist problem. It's the brain, it's the brain. No, it's not the brain. The problem is our minds, your mind, how it is thinking, what thought it has. And we must all learn to think differently. Otherwise, our car is going to go out of control. You need to be determined to change. If you're not determined to change, you will remain where you are and live a life that is not the best you could live. And you need to practice until the skill is learned. And just as a bit of scientific research here, Dr. Caroline Leaf says she, in her research, you can produce a new way of thinking, a new skill, just in 63 days. That's her scientific information. Now, scientific research has shown that over 75, some reports say up to 98% of all mental health problems are the result of negative thinking patterns. 75 to 98% of mental health problems is the way we are thinking. And this is the research, Switched On Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf. And Healing Begins with Sanctification of the Heart. No Disease is Incurable by Dr. M.K. Stradom. You can read those as research. So if it's all about the mind, what is this thing that we call the mind? We all talk about our mind. We all talk about our thinking. What is it? Well, to begin with, we need to realize we are three parts. And here's a little diagram that I've created, and I hope it helps you. We actually are a spirit, most of us. I have a spirit, whatever that is. We have a soul, whatever that is. And we have a body. We can see the body, spirit and soul, we can't see. But when we look at the soul, it comprises three specific areas. Our emotions, feeling sad, feeling glad, feeling optimistic, feeling bad. That's our emotional aspect of our soul. And our body, of course, then has feelings, but our soul has emotions. We also got then what they call the mind, all that part that we think with. And then you've got your will, your free will, or your cognitions, where you make a decision. And your mind is working with the emotions and the free will, your cognitions, in every decision that you're making. Now, if there is an external event that happens, and let's just use that, something pricks you, immediately we feel it in the nervous system of the body, we feel pain, but immediately our mind is thinking, what happened? Where did this happen? What's going on? And immediately, depending on how your mind has been trained, it will either go into panic or into resolution mode, what needs to be done now. And as it goes through the emotions, it makes a choice, and we find the result in the body. So if it's negative thinking, it will result in feeling panicky in the body, hypervigilance, hyperventilating, that sort of thing. Now, the spirit and soul we cannot see. The body we can see, and it reflects what has gone on in our spirit and our soul. And we just want to look a little bit at the Greek word psyche, which is the Greek word for our soul. And it's our word psychology is therefore derived from that word. So it's a well-known term. When we ever talk about psychology, we're talking about this thing called the soul. So let's have a brief look at what impacts your thinking. When anything happens, your mind starts processing information using your brain and draws on the following aspects. How you are feeling emotionally at the time. And we do know that our emotions impact us almost on a daily basis. If you're feeling positive, you can manage the spins of life, the things that happen, or somebody going out of control. But if we are feeling negative in our emotions, we respond out of that way. And we also respond of our past experience, which can be both positive or negative. Hence, we have this idea that some people see a glass half full or half empty. And then there is your survival instincts of your lower brain. So your thinking is all impacted by these things. So your brain is working to analyze, and your mind takes that information using the brain, and we have a result. When your thought processes are negative and toxic, see, this is impact straight on the body through the hypothalamus, which is your control center of your endocrine system. Cortisol and homocysteine is released into the body, and this affects your immune system. So your immune system starts breaking down. Your cardiovascular, that you're breathing, and your heart starts being overloaded, and your neurological systems are impacted. And obviously, we see this in the body because our body is now demonstrating that we have a problem. The result is your body responds with warning signs that something is wrong. And just throwing a pill at it is not the solution. Yes, it might help you for the moment, but we have to do something more if we want to improve our lifestyle. Mental health is not a physical problem. Going to the gym, doing meditation can be beneficial, but it won't change your mental health. Eating better, sleeping, whatever, that does not change your mental health. They might contribute to a positive way of thinking, but it doesn't change. Mental health is not a brain problem. It is a thought management problem. And we have the choice. This choice is entirely up to you. Nothing around you can change this choice. This is entirely your free will to move from sadness into positivity. This is your choice. This is the end of part 1, and I thank you for watching. It's going to be continued, and the next part 2, will be presented on the 7th of November. And if you want to, you can join Revive Living Waters platform where this is presented. Thank you for listening.